Hello, this is not a spring chicken. Yes, just when you think, oh, that health care is being repealed. Well, now, let's see. They said it was. That's what the Republicans were going to do. And now, what is it? It's a government takeover of health care because it's better for you. Does that sound like a repeat? Well, now they really are saying, well, no, we're going to take it over. Well, we're going to share more with you. Of course, in other headlines with comments on the headlines of today with Oldecam. Democrats now pushing the complete takeover of health care to save the system from the Republicans.
Well, yes, they said the Republicans would have your children dying in the street, but the president, through executive order, can order the Medicare and Medicaid systems to take everyone in the country in under their system and then nationalize the health care industry in order to provide for those two systems. Like he's nationalized the car industry. He owns AIG, which is the largest insurer in the world, remember, folks?
Well, people will say he didn't nationalize the car industry. They're still independent.
No, they're not. They don't. Anybody that stands up against Obama gets fired. How many people that we knew have been fired at those companies?
Oh, yeah, from car manufacturers.
Yeah, and how many dealerships that were Republican dealerships were put out of business by Obama?
And what makes the Democratic greater than the party is that it believes in individualism and not blind obedience.
I know, and here, we're just listening to the news people. The Democrats basically do nothing. They're in lockstep on everything they do. They will not vary more than a word or so from the talking points that they're given. Remember last week, this is not Republicans, every other word is going to be a lie from the Republicans. Was it Wiener? That's, that they can't tell the truth. This is not a government takeover. Today, we need to take over the healthcare system to save us from the Republicans and the killing of your children.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like it's a government takeover, just exactly what they said. They said they do not need the House or Senate to do this because the President can do it by one stroke of a pen. And they're expecting this week for Obama to make Medicare and Medicaid available for all people, even though the states can't afford what they've got now, and he has to raise money. They said, what was it? One of the people there said it's an absolute a saying that they know it's unconstitutional.
Yeah.
But if they expand the other thing, it's constitutional.
And too many Republicans born under the Cabbage Patch.
Oh God! You see this stupid thing about this show Skin?
No, what was it?
On MTV, they let it go. Well, we may have been doing child pornography without knowing it.
What?
Okay, we know the people over at MTV, folks. We know their vice president of marketing and advertising, and basically we're talking this way. She's they're a nice person, but she's sort of clueless about. I don't think she'd know pornography if she saw it.
Oh, come on.
No, she's really nice. It's a very nice young woman. But their marketing people, their PR people are talking to the New York Times. We may have inadvertently did child pornography, so we're having to retool it. And nationally, Bill O'Reilly and Rush Limbaugh and everybody on the right, we need a criminal investigation of MTV and Viacom.
This is ridiculous.
Okay. Here's for all of you Republicans that basically, need to learn something. It's called public relations. Remember the Paris Hilton, hamburger eating thing that never got seen except on the.
I know.
Yeah. And how about
Carl's Jr.?
Yeah. Anybody remember Married with Children that wouldn't have existed except for that right-wing woman complaining about how filthy it was?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it gives an audience to something that had no audience. Well, because they know that you can only go so far. Okay, in England, 16 years old, you can be stark naked, but in this country, you can't until you're 18. But they knew that no one was going to watch that show on MTV because they had to work within our nation's laws.
Right.
So they created a scandal, which basically the first show ratings are, the rerun, everybody wants to rerun it now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing to see.
And Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter won't lead his organization.
Well, because the organization has got huge problems. Mostly they can't raise the money they need to raise because nobody. Okay, and this is Matt Obama. Matt Obama wants to make it understood to people: if you don't have any money, If you got a choice between contributing to the Martin Luther King Foundation or buying shoes for your kid, I think the kid gets shoes.
Mm. And Blackwater founder trains Somalians.
This is called a news moment. This is, my little BS the Bull. That's what they do for a living.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they forgot about that.
And Obama expected to use executive orders to rebuild the unions.
Yeah, they're talking about that. The union, okay, with the Democrats in total charge, the unions went down by 10%. They lost 10% of their workforce, and membership has decreased by 6%, which is the lowest it's been since the union movement started. It's lower than when it's as low as when the movement started. Can you imagine that? Because they said the people, the Democrats with their lockstep again, which they're all independent, of course, they both say the same talking points. The unions are what make this country strong. Everywhere where unions are at, there's a profitable business. They're all, that's why they got right now $2 trillion of unfunded pensions drawn on. The unions have got $2 trillion of unfunded pensions as of this moment in time in history, and it's only going to get bigger. Every business in the nation is busted because they can't fulfill the pension agreements.
And U.S. drug maker discontinues key lethal injection drug.
Because he supports the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party wants to end, only the United States, only a couple of countries in the world don't have the death penalty. Basically everybody has the death penalty but the United States and Britain and a few European countries. But we have to show the world, here's the thing is, they're all pissed off at the guy that shot all these people and killed them in Tucson, but that he was drove to it by the Republicans. So he needs medical help. He doesn't need to be killed. They're in the Democratic world philosophy, the Democratic Party, their criminal is the one that got killed, not the person that killed him.
I know. Isn't that pretty screwy?
I know.
Yeah, illegal aliens cost the states alone $110 billion a year.
I mean, and they're trying to say they don't. This is from the social programs that they're going through. That's $110 billion that they can actually put their finger on. This is for the people that actually go to the hospitals, that go to the schools, and to get the welfare. It doesn't count the people that on the federal side that they can't get the records on. They can only get state records. They can't get federal records on how much money they're putting out.
And Obama expected to use executive order to rebuild the unions.
Yeah, that one.
I know. I'm sitting there going,
Well, no,
it's worth repeating, though.
No, but it's just, you cannot, this is the they pointed out on the news, this is the United States of America, it is not the Soviet Union. He cannot order a business to unionize. He thinks he can. I've told people, Republicans seem to be the only people on earth, the Republican leaders, the Republicans down the line, and everyone else in the country knows that the guy is not moving towards the middle. He's entrenching to the left. With every day, he's getting more to the left. I mean, he appointed Jeffrey Emmel, who believes in cap and trade, to be the head of the Jobs Council. His first thing out of his mouth, green jobs will help save the economy.
Illegal aliens cost the states alone $110 billion. Oh, we already did that. Prosecutors Berlusconi had many prostitutes.
The problem is, and it's in Italy, folks. It's where you can't walk through the Via Veneto if you're a woman without many bruises on your rear end.
I'll test it
They
out.
expect their leaders to, the guy is, first of all, he's a billionaire too. So, and it's not illegal to fool around with hookers in Italy.
And Hawaii won't release President Obama's birth info. Isn't this interesting?
Isn't that amazing? They made a big deal about it. We're going to release it. We're going to do this. It's because they don't have any.
I know. Doesn't that sound suspicious?
Well, that spring chick knows how difficult it was for me to get a thing for a passport. I couldn't get a birth certificate. I had to get a certificate of birth, which is different than a birth certificate, which means you had to find somebody that knew you were actually born there in that hospital, because my hospital burnt to the ground. And the record place where they carried my stuff was all burned to the ground like 70 years ago. So so you have to go find somebody that actually could testify on a piece of paper that you were. They can't find anybody that can testify. They can't even get a certificate of birth.
See, part of it is he's not that old, so there would be somebody,
But they can't find anybody. Well, we were friends of the family. Well, remember, his family was very reclusive, though.
Right.
And he wasn't, well, part of it is probably because I'll lay you odds that,
His parents are still alive.
huh? Who?
Aren't his parents are still alive?
No, his mother's dead.
Well, his mother.
His
I thought his
dead.
grandmother was dead.
And
I
his
thought.
grandfather is dead. His brother is Kenyan. His sister is Kenyan.
But can't they? Oh, I guess they're not U.S. citizens. So
They're
they
not
can't
U.S. citizens.
count.
And his father also has other wives, so I'm assuming that in the United States they don't recognize, polygamy. So he may not even have a legal father, which could be why there's no real, I mean, he could have been born here, but if you weren't legitimate, they have a tendency to throw those things away when you're born in this country.
Oh,
back in those
really?
days,
I didn't know that.
That's Hawaii. Hawaii tends to be
Oh.
really conservative, no matter if they got a democratic government, they are a very conservative kind of state.
Oh, that's true. And more than 120. Oh, yeah. And a Monty Bubbleism from the Mark Twain of the Animal Kingdom.
Okay. Basically, smart doesn't mean you're a Republican.
Nor a Democrat.